Live from KSAT 12, the 6 o'clock news starts right now.
Gunfire on a college campus. There have been 67 mass shootings so far this year. Just this year, according to the Gun Violence Archive. And the latest happening at Michigan State University, where 3 people were killed and 5 others hurt. Less than 24 hours later, Texas State Senator Roland Gutierrez is introducing new gun safety legislation at the state capitol. Yeah, that's where Lee Waldman joins us now, live from Austin. Lee, several of those bills centered around ammunition sales. Explain that.
Steve, 2 of the 4 bills Gutierrez introduced today have to do with regulating and tracking ammunition sales. Senate Bill 911 wants to create a bulk ammunition database that will require people selling more than 200 rounds of ammo to register and provide information of purchase, type of ammo, and identity of the purchaser. It'll also require people buying 200 rounds or more to undergo background checks before that sale is final. SB 914 requires ID for the purchase of ammunition and makes it a misdemeanor for anyone to knowingly sell ammo to people younger than 18.
When a kid buys over 900 rounds of ammunition, and then he buys another 1,600 rounds of ammunition online, somehow that significance of that moment should ring true in somebody's registry somewhere, right? Someone's database somewhere.
Gutierrez introduced 2 other pieces of legislation. SB 912 expands safe storage requirements for all firearms, not just ones accessible to children. And SB 913 requires every firearm owner to have liability insurance for injuries or deaths that occur with their firearms. If that last bill moves forward, anyone who doesn't have that insurance could be subject to a fine. Now, Gutierrez was not alone today in announcing this legislation. He was joined by families of the Robb Elementary School shooting and the Santa Fe High School shooting. You'll hear from them directly tonight on the Night Beat. Live at the state capitol, Lee Waldman, KSAT 12 News.
All right, thank you, Lee. New information in connection with the arrest of a suspected serial robber. He is now facing federal charges. 69-year-old James Kirkwood has been charged with robbery interfering with interstate commerce. On January 31st, robbery task force detectives were doing surveillance on the south side when they noticed a car they say was linked to several recent robberies at Dollar General, Dollar Tree, PetSmart, and Big Lots. Detectives followed that vehicle. They say they caught Kirkwood robbing a dollar store on Zarzamora near Highway 90. In addition to that federal charge, Kirkwood faces 1 charge of aggravated robbery, but more charges, we're told, could be coming.
Oftentimes, a domestic violence victim will go to their faith leader for help before family, friends, even agencies. That reality became clear when more than 100 local faith and community leaders joined together to discuss what they can do to serve those survivors, how they can help. As Courtney Friedman reports, the kickoff of this citywide campaign will develop, hopefully, into a long-term prevention plan. This story, part of Courtney's series, Loving in Fear.
As a clergy member, we are the trusted people, and so people come to us with all different things, and domestic violence is one of those.
Rabbi Marina Jurgen with Temple Bethel spent her morning alongside other religious leaders, learning how to identify domestic violence and offer help to those who ask. The tough conversations forcing dedicated faith leaders to look inward.
I also think we have this stereotype that this doesn't happen in the Jewish community, that domestic violence is not something that we deal with, and that's a fallacy.
Part of the event was questions put on this screen posing conversation topics for the people at these tables to talk about together.
Different people have different ways of doing things. Always. All the ways are welcomed.
Family Violence Prevention Services CEO Marta Prada Pelaez heard many great ideas during the Love Should Not Hurt event hosted by Metro Health, like building support teams within congregations, visiting abuse shelters, leading by example without judgment, and distributing the correct resources.
But at Temple Bethel, we have in all of our restrooms stickers, men's and women's restrooms, and our gender-neutral bathroom that show a sticker that if you are dealing with domestic violence, here's a number you can call and resources.
Similar stickers were dispersed at the event so other places of worship can do the same.
Now moving forward, what do we do with that? Remains to be seen, but I'm not going to just leave here today and check off a box. This continues.
Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
If you hear nothing else from this story, know that help is out there. If you or someone you know is suffering from abuse, we have a long list of resources on our website. Go to ksat.com/domestic violence.
A tough morning for a family on the northwest side whose home was damaged by flames overnight. That led to a tough question. What will they do next? As Katrina Weber reports, all the people escaped safely, but some of their pets had to be rescued.
It took San Antonio firefighters only minutes to put out a fire that would destroy years' worth of a family's memories. The 2 adults and a child in this home on Vailwood View, not far from Bandera Road, woke up just before 4 this morning to the sound of their smoke detectors.
The initial crews reported smoke on the front side, flames on the back side.
Fire crews who were called here wasted no time getting to work, knocking down that fire, doing what they say the homeowners had not been able to do.
They initially started to extinguish it with their own extinguisher, but they ran out with that.
All 3 people were able to run out of the home safely, but firefighters had to go in and rescue their pets, a cat and turtle. Firefighters say it looks like the fire started outside the home on the back side, and they believe it may have had something to do with the family trying to keep their pets warm.
Well, there was a heater on the backside exterior for those pets that were outside, and that possibly could be the culprit.
Fire investigators would have to find out for sure. In the meantime, the people who lived here have to figure out their next move. Firefighters say the fire burned all the way into the attic, and the home now has extensive damage. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
And another fire overnight, forcing 5 to find a place to stay. This one on the city's south side in the 12,800 block of Applewhite Road near South Zarzamora Street. Fire crews got the call around 2:30. Firefighters say the fire started on the back porch and then spread into the mobile home. All 5 people and 2 dogs were able to get out safely. Fire officials know where this fire started, but don't know how yet. The people who live there were able to find a place to stay with family.
Check out Valentine's Day traffic, shall we? You know, I'd love to say there's nothing but love and caring out there.
Oh, hey!
This is I-10 in Hildebrand, and there was actually an accident that I think just cleared the scene here. So, you know, well, there I see some of the emergency vehicles that were also part of it. Again, I-10 at Hildebrand, the eastbound lanes, a minor traffic accident just cleared. So I don't know if it's love exactly, but
a little more like.
There's some like out there on our roadways.
Okay.
I like that, Myra. Thank you. I got your 6. In the military, it means I got your back. That's the message the I Got Your 6 Summit hopes to send to service members and veterans who are struggling. Jonathan Cotto explains what the event is all about through the story of a retired major and mother who's been there.
Transitioning from active duty service to civilian life, not as easy as it may seem, and retired Air Force Major Adrienne Beard knows the challenges firsthand.
I felt like I prepared myself before I got out of the Air Force, and then when I got out of the Air Force, it was a totally different story. I thought it was going to be a smooth ride down a snowy hill.
But instead,
it ended up being a very rough, bumpy ATV ride.
Beard didn't plan to go so long without a job and without pay while she waited for benefits to kick in.
I humbly tapped into the San Antonio Food Bank because I had little twins that needed to be fed.
Beard now works as a liaison between active duty and veterans. She's attending the I Got Your 6 Summit to find out what help is available from hundreds of nonprofits, resources that oftentimes veterans don't know exist. Bridging that gap is the purpose of this event.
Folks here at Got Your 6 Summit say the problem isn't a lack of resources, but how do we get the numerous resources into their hands?
There's an embarrassment of riches, some might say, in San Antonio because there is so much support. But it is still not always as easy as it could be to connect with that support.
Former Chief Petty Officer in the United States Navy, Julianne Stith, says one of the many resources, the United Way, has measured that at least 30,000 veterans in Bexar County don't make a living wage.
And so those are the ones that we're seeing a lot who kind of get caught needing help with rent and food, childcare, things like that. So yes, it is a problem here.
Jonathan Cotto, KSAT 12 News.
Well, on this Valentine's Day, if you love some warm weather, today's the day for you. Feels like spring out there, but hold on. Wait just a minute.
Hubba hubba.
Not yet.
Hubba hubba. Okay, we'll go with that too.
Yeah, that's all I have for Valentine's Day. Hubba hubba. Anyway, yeah, we've got, if you don't like the warmth, we've got some cold just around the corner. Don't put the jackets away yet. Don't get too used to the warmth. 76 degrees right now after we hit 80 degrees earlier today. Dew point is 16, dry air, and the wind is already subsiding. That's the nice thing. It was a gusty day today. That's all coming to an end just over the next couple of hours. Clear sky, calming wind. By 10 o'clock, we're at 64. By midnight, we're at 59 degrees. And tomorrow morning, we'll start the day right around 50, not too bad, 50 degrees, basically on average across our area. But notice how the temperatures change quite a bit behind our next cold front that hits tomorrow night. Thursday morning, we're 47, but by Friday and Saturday, we're talking a light freeze. I'll be back to also talk about the high temperatures, how they'll be impacted if there's any hope for some rain with that cold front, and a weatherversary today. Get to that in a minute.
Do you remember this? Freezing rain, ice, snow, temperatures below freezing for days. What a difference 2 years can make. Tonight on the Night Beat, the changes made by residents in the city of San Antonio after the 2021 freeze.
He was committed to Southeast San Antonio. Last month's sudden passing of the late Dr. Harmon Kelly would have been harder for his patients to accept had it not been for his own daughter, Dr. Margaret Kelly. Also an obstetrician and gynecologist, Jessie DeGollado says that Dr. Margaret Kelly began working with her father soon after she finished medical school.
Dr. Harmon Kelly's name above his daughter's, Dr. Margaret Kelly, was a father's hope realized.
He was very purposeful in training me, preparing me for a time that he would not be here.
This was Dr. Harmon Kelly's office, a man whose physician daughter says is a tough act to follow.
Most definitely. Daddy was absolutely a class act and an absolute gentleman.
Beloved by generations of patients like Catherine Vargas.
He had the best bedside manner. He had so much compassion.
These are two of her 3 children delivered by Dr. Kelly, along with her granddaughter Justine, whose baby will be brought into the world by Dr. Margaret Kelly.
I love her already. I've only come here twice, and I love her.
Her father was known and respected across the city for his commitment to the Southeast Side community because at one time
it was hard to get a good physician, and he was one of the best.
He saw the disparity and wanted to provide women in this community with women's health.
His daughter says being African American wasn't a factor.
But I think he proved that if you're kind, if you're the best, then patients will come.
One of the many lessons Dr. Harmon Kelly shared with his daughter.
Wonderful, wonderful 20 years. Really wonderful.
Jessie DeGollado, KSAT 12 News.
Both of Dr. Kelly's very special. I also had the opportunity to meet his wife. Just a great family.
Yeah, seems like a very strong legacy there.
Yeah. All right, over the tower, 75 degrees, sun setting on what is an awesome February 14th.
Very warm Valentine's Day. Unlike a few we have had in the past.
Yes.
Recent history.
Yeah.
Some we'd like to forget, I guess, especially with the effects thereafter.
It was fun. It was fun in the beginning.
It was a great Valentine's Day and the day after, I will admit it was. And we're going to get to that here in a moment. I want to get to our headlines quickly. It's going to be warm again tomorrow. The wind's going to be calming tonight. So luckily you're not going to be worrying. The wind is not going to be a factor in our weather tonight. And most of the day tomorrow, just a little bit of a breeze. Short weather tomorrow, but then you need the jackets as we get into Thursday and Friday, and even to start the weekend. So have those jackets ready to go, even though you don't need them tomorrow. And then the wind picks up again later this week on Thursday. The almanac's important here. So we made 80 degrees, the high temperature today, well above 67, which is the average. But look at 2021, the record low temperature, 13 degrees on this day in 2021. That night, right before midnight, we hit that record low. And let's just take a little venture back on into what we had 2 years ago today. The snow and the cold began, and people were all having fun, of course, right now, you know, when it just began. And we all remember that snow at first, the excitement, and then, of course, the subsequent cold and power outages set in, and then we dealt with the lasting effects and the ERCOT issues thereafter. We had officially 3.7 inches of snowfall from Valentine's Day night all the way through the very early morning hours of February 15th. Quite a contrast to what we have out there right now. 76 at the airport. Laredo's at 82, Del Rio 80 degrees, 60s as you head farther to the north into Texas, but we are above average now. Cotulla even at 84, 74 meanwhile New Braunfels. Tomorrow morning we start the day right near 50. That's 48 Uvalde and Hondo, 50 in Pleasanton, and 50 degrees for the low in Canyon Lake. As I said, shorts weather tomorrow. 84 in Pleasanton, some 90s on the map. Del Rio, Carrizo Springs, Crystal City, Cotulla, 90 degrees, the high temperature. Of course, Eagle Pass as well, probably a high of 91. Locally, about 79 in Leon Springs, 82 Lavernia, 83 in Castroville, and Lake Hills 80 degrees. I do think around most of Bexar County will just sneak into the lower 80s for a brief period of time. But then it all changes. You're going to want your jackets, sweaters, long sleeves, whatever you like. Thursday through Saturday, look at the high temperatures going from 82 tomorrow back into the mid to upper 50s for highs Thursday and Friday. And on Thursday, that's going to be coupled with a gusty wind. Even Saturday, not much of an improvement with the high temperature right near 60. And keep in mind, that's 8 degrees below the average of 68. And then the temperatures do moderate back up. And by the following week, we will be back into the lower 80s. But look at this map. This just sums it all up right now. The blue on the radar indicates areas of snow, western U.S., even parts of the Midwest, and then this classic comma-shaped low-pressure system that's moving through the midsection of the country. We're on the backside of it. That gave us our gusty wind today. And if you thought it was gusty here, wait till 6:30 and I show you the wind gusts in West Texas and parts of the Panhandle and what that stirred up. We'll get to that coming up next half hour. But as for our rain chances, our next system's over the desert Southwest. It was causing some precip there. Our next cold front, a 10% chance. That's it. That's all we can drum up here. A 10% chance of a few showers tomorrow night with that cold front. So unfortunately, this dry trend right now is going to continue. Some patchy fog in the morning tomorrow. Nuisance moisture. 50 degrees at 7 a.m. By noon, total sunshine. We're at 71 degrees. Then a high temperature of 82. We'll hit that around 4 p.m. Dew points, dry. I mean, we're in the teens right now, but those dew points will rebound a little bit tomorrow. Then that next cold front's really going to give us that dry air again. So if you're susceptible to the chapped lips or dry skin, you'll notice it Thursday, Friday, and even on into Saturday. And notice those low temperatures. I want to point that out again. Friday morning, a light freeze, Saturday morning as well. And then next week we warm up again.
All right. Thank you, Adam.
All right, the Super Bowl is done. You know what that means?
What's that mean?
It's Brahma time.
It is Brahma time. XFL time. The 8-team league gets ready to kick off this weekend with some games on Saturday, followed by some games on Sunday. The Brahmas, one of those games coming up on Sunday. So what can we expect from the Brahmas this season and in the NBA? Spurs rookie Blake Wesley had a very impressive fourth quarter last night. Coming up.
Experience was good, you know, being there and, you know, like you said, being in the starting lineup and everybody, you know, cheering, so it was cool.
Malachi had his own cheering section last night in Big Board Sports. So the Spurs fought back from a 21-point third-quarter hole last night. They get within 4 points in the fourth, but they still lost to the Cavaliers 117-109 for their 13th straight loss, tying their franchise record losing streak set back in the 1988-89 season. Keldon Johnson scored 25 and rookie Malachi Branham 18 to pace the Spurs, who are just 2-20 in the new year. Rookie Blake Wesley scored 9 points off the bench, with 7 of those in the fourth quarter. He had a steal and a slam dunk to get the Spurs within 6, and then moments later he fed Charles Bassey for a layup to draw the Spurs within 4. His fourth quarter burst was nice to see.
Yeah, that's, you know, the most aggressive he's been, where he made some good decisions, and he didn't just let somebody jump up on him. He just took them. If they wanted to pressure him, he blew by him and did a fine job.
It was great just seeing him play free, play loose. You know, I've just been telling him, like, just go out and have fun, just basketball. So I was very happy to see him play the way he did.
And the Spurs announced that they've converted the two-way contract of center Charles Bassey to a standard NBA contract. Last night in Cleveland, he had 6 points and 8 rebounds in 13 minutes. Bassey has appeared in 25 games with San Antonio this season, averaging 4.7 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 1.2 assists in 13.6 minutes. So the Hornets will host the Spurs tomorrow night at 6. That's a very winnable game for San Antonio. Speaking of the Hornets, they led from start to finish last night to beat the Hawks 144-138 to snap a 7-game losing streak. LaMelo Ball had 30 points and 15 assists. Terry Rozier added 29 for the Hornets. Charlotte entered tied for the most losses in the NBA with 43 this season, but they never trailed in this one as they raced to a 14-point lead behind 21 first-half points from Gordon Hayward. Now that the NFL season is over with, the XFL will take center stage with Week 1 kicking off this Saturday with 2 games. The San Antonio Brahmas will begin their season on Sunday at home with the St. Louis Battlehawks, 2 p.m. at the Alamo Dome. Now, some of the guys came to town last week along with head coach Hines Ward to meet and greet fans at Alamo Beer Company. So this gave us a chance to ask them what we can expect to see on the field this season.
I think you're going to see a team that's, a family. We're all very close with each other, and we're going to play really hard for each other. We're a hard-working team. We're going to bring a ton of energy, and we're going to do everything we can to win.
We always going to play for Coach Ward. We're going to play hard. We're going to execute. We're going to do what we need to do, on and off the field. I feel like the guys that we got in our locker room are real good, culture people, and knows what it takes and knows what Coach Ward wants, because he's been there. He's done that.
All right, you can click the QR code on the screen to enter a chance to win tickets to the Brahmas home opener and be in the bullpen on the field. You have to be a KSAT insider, though. You can win 2 tickets to the game, food, drink vouchers, access to a private bar, a chance to take photos on the field, and meet folks from KSAT. You have to sign up to be a KSAT insider to enter, so click the QR code to sign up to be an insider and enter to win.
All right, Larry, a lot of people want to know, are they going to be successful with the gunslingers and the commanders and the failed franchises before?
Yeah.
We're going to ask the mayor coming up right after the break.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'll be tuned in.
Thanks, Larry.
Our KSAT Q&A is next.
All right, the Brahmas, the airport, the 2-year anniversary of the winter storm that basically shut down San Antonio and parts of South Texas. Joining us to talk about all that and more is San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg. Mr. Mayor, thank you for joining us on Valentine's Day. Thank your wife for letting you join us on Valentine's Day. I appreciate that. Let's talk about the airport. There's going to be a new plan for the terminals and more that will be unveiled tomorrow. What do you want to see out of this, and what do you hope people take out of what they learn tomorrow?
There are a few days that I can remember when our city fundamentally changes. And I think tomorrow is going to be one of those days. In 2017, I put together a task force to really address the needs of air service in the 7th largest city in the United States. And through that process, in the next 5 years, we've been working towards reimagining the San Antonio airport to be a Tier 1 world-class facility that our community deserves. And tomorrow we will be unveiling renderings and some 3D imagery of at least preliminary designs of that new airport, which will be on the site of the current airport, but a new terminal facility that will be far and above, unlike anything you've seen in San Antonio before, a facility that you would expect from a world-class city with world-class aviation services. This is one part of a bigger phase-in of the redevelopment of the San Antonio airport, which will include new terminal facility, runway facility, et cetera. But this is really going to send a shot across the bow, nationally, internationally, locally, about the community, the city that we are building and that we believe we deserve in terms of facilities for aviation.
Mayor, that's how you do it, tease, setting it up as a transformational day for San Antonio. So we'll be watching.
And the best news about this, though, Myra, I can't let this point go past. The way these things are built, the funds come from the airlines and from the FAA. This is not local tax dollars that will be used to build this facility. So it's really our community that gets to enjoy the benefits of this kind of visioning process for our airport. So I want to make sure that didn't slip by.
Oh, it wasn't going to. That's what I was going to ask you, was how we're going to pay for all this. So to be clear, I know we've talked a little bit about this before. Grants are applied for from the federal or at the federal level, and then those are dispersed periodically.
Yes.
I mean, it's not money that the city has sitting in its coffers right now.
That's correct. It's sort of in the planning process. We've received some FAA grants already for the planning process of this, but the way aviation facilities are built in the United States, this is a federal program because the FAA has to make sure that we have capacity and facilities available where people need to get to. And so we are part of that effort. And the growth of San Antonio's air service mandates the fact that we grow into that level of capacity need. So it will be FAA grants along the course of this implementation, and it will also be airlines, which is also part of the funding mix of major international airports. So this will not be paid for by local tax dollars, the San Antonio International Airport redevelopment.
I want to move on to what we're going to have this weekend. Football back in the Alamo Dome, professional football, the Brahmas, the XFL. Rumors that The Rock's going to be in town. Larry Ramirez wanted to ask if you and The Rock were going to arm wrestle. But beyond that, there are a lot of people, when you talk, you say gunslingers, you say commanders. It's a litany of failed professional football teams in San Antonio. What makes the Brahmas different, do you believe?
I think a couple things make the Brahmas and the XFL a little bit different. Every professional football league that tries to compete with the NFL will fail because NFL, frankly, is king of football, professional football in the United States and worldwide. What's different here is that you have assembled people in the front office of the league as well as in the franchises themselves, San Antonio and the other teams that are well experienced within professional sports and within the entertainment industry. There's major media sponsors already, and I think they've got that situated pretty well. The other important aspect of this is the XFL is being positioned as a collaborator of sorts with the NFL, player development, talent development. It's not competing with the NFL. In fact, it's not a partnership, but it's pretty darn close to one. You're going to see a lot of players being developed in the XFL that eventually will make NFL rosters. And so I think it's in a good position to succeed. Now, will it be great football? I happen to think so because there's also great talented people that will be playing on the field. Some of them actually local talent from here in San Antonio, and we've got great coaching as well. So we've got to make sure it's good football as a product. But I think it's well positioned to have some staying power from a business perspective, but also from just frankly good football. And we know that San Antonio football fans will show up and show out. We're going to cheer on our home team, the Brahmas, and hopefully we'll bring home some championship gold as well.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Let's turn now to the city election coming up in May. There was a charter amendment proposition in front of voters. Act for SA activist group got enough signatures to put that on the ballot. It would do a lot of things, one of them decriminalizing low-level marijuana offenses and abortion-related crimes. However, there's now a legal challenge to that. A group wants those split, asking the Texas Supreme Court to step in to do that. Does that change anything in terms of putting this proposition in front of voters? Because the council's supposed to sign off on that this week, right?
Yeah, and let me be very clear. I've long been in support and on the record of a woman's right to choose, and also, frankly, that our marijuana laws in the states and across the country need a drastic rewrite. However, I will say that the city attorney's been very clear that even if these pass, that they are not enforceable because they are domain of the state government. That being said, the challenge to the way these are presented on the ballot is not in our authority. State statute, according to our city attorney, defers to the way petitions are presented from the petitioners themselves, and these have been certified as one item. And so we have a statutory obligation to put them on the ballot. You think about it, one of the most fundamental ways that citizens can redress their government is to petition. And so that's how it's being brought to us. We have what's called a ministerial duty to call the election now and to place this on the ballot. After that, it will be up to the courts and to the attorneys to decide our ability to enforce. And according to our city attorney, these are not enforceable at the city level.
Mr. Mayor, quickly before we let you go, we're hitting the 2-year anniversary from the storm that, frankly, 2 years ago on February 14th, it seemed like it was going to be fun. We'd had some snow. Didn't seem like it was a big problem. Obviously, it became much different with power outages and then people losing water. What are the lessons learned from 2 years ago, do you think, from a city perspective?
Well, there are many. And as you might remember, I pulled together a team of cross disciplines to evaluate what happened from a communications perspective, from an operations perspective, and give us an after action report so this never happens again in San Antonio. Communications wise, we've drastically improved the communications and alert system at CPS. We've also improved the cross collaboration between agencies at SAWS and CPS. CPS has reevaluated its critical circuits, and we've also added generators to the critical pumping stations in a partnership with SAWS so that we don't see power outages lead to the kind of water pressure loss that we saw during Winter Storm Uri. And then, of course, we get into the fact that when there are cascading impacts that last for a long time, there is real human impact here as well. And so we've upgraded our city vulnerable population register, so folks who are in need of special assistance, we can get to them very quickly and provide the resources that they might need to make it through. Hopefully we will never see this again, but I do want to emphasize one other point. We're updating our policies with regard to warming centers and shelters, but every time there is a weather event or some sort of emergency, our homeless service providers are out on the streets making contact with everybody who is out there unsheltered and giving them an opportunity, really trying to persuade them to come into shelter. No one should be sleeping out in the elements, whether it's an electrical grid issue or it's just simply cold weather or anything else. So we do work with our homeless providers, and they are doing outreach every single day. They're even doing outreach right now in anticipation of not terrible weather this week, but a little bit colder than what we're seeing right now.
Mayor Ron Nierenberg, happy Valentine's Day, and thanks for being with us this evening.
Happy Valentine's Day to everybody.
We'll be right back.